Starting, and we are live. All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend. I'm excited to kick us off today. Sorry, we were a couple minutes late, just experiencing some slight technical difficulties, so we are hoping they're all behind us right now. My name is Heather Grant. I am one of the community admins in the maintenance community by Upkeep. Thank you so much for making the time to join us today. If you are not already a member of the maintenance community on Slack, we would love to have you join us. I will add a link in the chat in just a moment to help sign up. Today, we have Ricky Smith joining for our presentation on how to sell proactive maintenance to your senior leadership. I think it's going to be a really valuable one for a lot of us, so I'm looking forward to learning a lot. The recording from our session today will be available at this link, actually right after we end our session, as well as in the maintenance community Slack tomorrow, along with a copy of the slides that you see here today. Ricky is also available in the Slack group to answer any questions, so please feel free to share the recording of this webinar or the invitation to Slack with your friends, colleagues, or anyone else you know who would benefit from hearing some of Ricky's expertise. Last piece of housekeeping, and then we'll go ahead and get started with our presentation. You'll notice that your cameras and microphones are not turned on today. So what you want to do if you have any questions to ask or answer from Ricky, you'll use the chat feature on the right-hand side of your screen. Feel free to chat your questions as they come up. We'll do our best to answer as many as we can at the end of our time today. But any questions we don't get to, we will answer offline in the community as well. I see people already jumping into the chat saying hello. Feel free to introduce yourself and let us know where you're joining from. That is all from me. Thank you again, Ricky, and everyone for joining us today. Ricky, I will hand it over to you to go ahead and get us started.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Buckle up today. We got how to sell proactive maintenance to senior leadership. It's a great topic. So why do you need to sell proactive maintenance to leadership? You think they'd already know they want it, but they may not understand where they are. So text it in, why do you need to sell proactive maintenance to leadership? Text in what do you think? Why do you need to do that? Go ahead and chat it in.
Waiting on the responses. Some people are typing. We have 2 answers in so far: to get budget to cover and to get budget to drive the process. Jim says mindset. We still have some more people typing, but those are our first few answers. We have to establish a plan of attack. Without leadership, you can't implement.
True.
Mm-hmm. Andy says to reveal them to an opportunity.
Yeah, good point.
And we still have a couple people typing, I think. Some people don't understand what it is and why they need it.
Yeah, I agree.
Another person says to get budget. Joseph says it's a framework for continuous improvement.
All right, let's move on. That's good statements. I mean, those are good points, very good points. All right. So I want you to text in your answer. Hold on, I messed up. Bear with me a minute. Okay. My bad. Heather, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
We're seeing your PowerPoint, not in presentation mode, though. We're not seeing it in presentation mode still.
Stuck. All right, maybe it'll go now. All right, can you see me now?
Yep, we're seeing it.
All right, so text in your answer to these questions. Is maintenance costs currently with you guys increasing? Yes, no, or no?
We have mostly yeses so far and one no.
Okay, let's go to the second one. Do you feel most of your equipment is in a maintainable condition? Yes or no?
We have mostly yeses coming in for number 2. All yeses so far coming in for number 2.
How effective is your maintenance planning and scheduling function? You know, is it 0 not effective or 10, somewhere between 0 and 10? Where is it?
We have all over the scale for number 3. We have 2, 2, 7, 3, 0, 7. So a couple high, a couple low, one
Okay.
in the middle.
All right, we'll go to the next one. How often are the parts required for a job not available? So we need the parts, but they're not available. So 1 less than 20%, all the way to 10, 70% plus. Where are you?
Mostly in the middle, a couple down low, nobody higher than a 7, another
Okay.
low.
All right. Has your organization conducted a PM optimization on problem equipment or assets? Have you done that?
Reading the answers, looks like about 75% no, 25% yes.
Okay.
Only on bad actors, Todd says.
Okay. So what percentage of your maintenance technicians are certified maintenance and reliability technicians, CMRT? So a 1 less than 20% or 10, 70% plus. Man, you guys were fast at the draw that time.
We have 0s and 1s, all 0s and 1s so far.
Okay. What percentage of your leaders or a CMRP or hold some other maintenance and reliability certification? 1 less than 20% or 10 would be 70% plus.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Mostly 1s. Oh no, we lost Ricky. We will wait just a moment to see if we're getting him back. Apologies for the technical difficulties today.
Another slide, Karen?
Welcome back, Ricky.
Okay, I'm back. All right, let's move on. Can you see me now? Hear me?
Yep, we can see your presentation and hear you well.
I think we got it. We got some storms in the area, so it might be messing up our internet connection. So why do we need to sell proactive maintenance to senior leadership? Well, wrench time is low and maintenance planning and scheduling is ad hoc at the best. Wrench time, sometimes also referred to as tool time, is a metric that shows us how much time maintenance techs spend with a tool in their hand performing actual work, not looking for parts, looking for Jimmy or Muhammad or whoever. They're looking for somebody to help them. So when we talk about this wrench time, if we look at this one chart I have here, you notice on this one, when they actually went from 28% wrench time to 50% wrench time, what they did was they actually transitioned technicians into planners and schedulers, which changed life a lot. Okay. Maintenance cost is higher than is required. Typical maintenance versus world class. Where are we? Well, if we look at what's world class and typical, all right, with cost.
And once again, we'll just wait for Ricky to rejoin. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties today. Thank you once again for your patience. I am working on reconnecting Ricky. Just one more minute, friends. We will relocate Ricky and get him back on as soon as we can. All right. Got word that he is just working on reconnecting still, setting his computer back up. He'll be back on in just a moment. Thanks again for your patience. And once again, back with my minute-by-minute updates for everyone here, working on getting Ricky reconnected still. Thank you once again for your patience. We will give him another few minutes to work on it here. Awesome. I can see the presentation, Ricky, but we cannot see or hear you. Ricky, I think you might need to go back to the webinar window and reconnect your audio. We can see your slides, but are not able to hear you. All right. Well, again, it is me. We are very close. We found the audio issue and we'll attempt to call in just one moment again. Thank you once again for your patience. Apologies for the technical issues. That's what happens in the world of live events. So we really appreciate you being along for the ride today, and we're hoping to get back on track in just a moment. Thank you everyone once again for your patience. We'll give him just a couple more minutes. I think he's very close to being able to connect his audio. If we're not able to, we will unfortunately need to reschedule for a later date and time. But I'm still hopeful we'll be able to get this audio to work in the next couple of minutes. Thanks again.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry about that. All right. So how do you sell proactive maintenance senior leadership? I gotta mute my phone here. I mean, my laptop. All right. We're back now.
So most maintenance leaders, know
RACI,
their maintenance org. Yeah.
we're not seeing your slides anymore.
Oh my gosh.
There we go.
Everybody there?
Yep, we're here and we can see your slides.
All right. Most maintenance leaders, who know their maintenance organization reactive, are not trained in selling to leadership. It's all about the money. You can talk the talk, but if you don't hit the right nerve with management, it's hard to convince them you need more money to be able to move to proactive maintenance. So the difference between typical maintenance organization and a world-class maintenance organization is shocking. The maintenance cost difference between the typical maintenance organization is 1.5 to 3 times higher than a world-class maintenance organization. Think about that. That's a lot of money. The wrench time difference between world-class organization and a typical organization is equivalent of having 2 times the amount of maintenance techs you have on your staff. Think about it. If your wrench time's at 20%, and now you could take your wrench time up to world class at 60%, you'll have triple the people. You really won't have the people, but you get that much work done. That's the whole point about wrench time. Safety and reliability directly trend with each other. And this is a big selling point, because if we look at this chart, and you've seen this a few minutes ago, it's a big deal. When we look at it, we see as OEE trends up, our injury rate goes down. So what does that mean? It's a good selling point to management. If you use this chart, you'll be able to get these slides. If you want these slides, you can either email Heather or me, and you can use these. So in 2020, the current state, U.S. industrial production was minus 16.5% over year over year. So the U.S. total factory orders were minus 22.7% year over year because of the coronavirus. So think about that. I mean, if industrial production went down, you still got your fixed costs. You still got to pay taxes. You still got to pay for the electrical. You still have all these things in there that you still got to pay. So why do we need proactive maintenance? I wonder. What we don't want is for the plant, like the one on the left, is closed. We want to see them, and you see the one on the right, that plant there had cars in the parking lot. They have no cars there now. So what do you think? Why do we need proactive maintenance? To save jobs. That's what it's all about. So how to sell it? Number one, determine how much your organization's maintenance cost is benchmarked against known standards, or identify the trend of maintenance costs. I mentioned this earlier. If you're at 9% typical and your maintenance cost is the percentage of replacement asset value, the international standard, or you're at world-class 3%, your maintenance costs are lower. You don't have to. All you have to do is improve maintenance, and costs go down. This is what the selling point is to management. And the maintenance material cost 1 to 3.5, and I can get it down to 2.5 to 0.75%. Wow, that's incredible. This includes total maintenance material costs will decrease, total maintenance labor costs decreases. Doesn't mean we lay anybody off. The one thing people get wrapped around about is when we reduce labor, doesn't mean we reduce people, but we reduce the labor cost, okay? And how do you do that? Some of it is we don't have the overtime you normally have. I mean, when I worked at a world-class maintenance plant, I have to tell you, they warn us ahead of time that as things start to improve, our overtime will go down. We'll find out we got life outside of work, which is incredible. Found that out. I couldn't imagine that. Leave work one day, you got this little thing crying on the floor crying. You come back the afternoon, they're taller than you are. That's your child. You missed their whole life in it. So this includes maintenance inventory value, contractor costs. So you need to trend these things. Injuries, near miss. So we look at this chart below. We got maintenance labor in the blue graph. We got maintenance material on the other, and maintenance contractor on the other. This is the trend. So when we see maintenance labor, costs are going up. We see maintenance material costs going up and contractor costs going up. We got a problem and we need to do something about it. Okay, so how to sell them? Determine how much maintenance costs has increased over the last 5 years. Okay, so I've got year one. This is a true example, believe it or not. Okay, so this was year one, $416,000. You look at year 5, my cost went from $416 to $698,221. Wow, material costs went from $127 to $324,000. Maintenance contractor costs. I mean, it's unbelievable. And maintenance cost per unit produced. Do you see a problem? You know, what do you think the problem is here? What do you think it is, honestly? Why is cost continuing to go up? You text in your answer.
Reactive maintenance, all around.
Say that again.
Everyone says reactive maintenance. There's not a specific plan for cost controlling.
Right. If you're in reactive maintenance, this is exactly right. Reactive maintenance cost is out of control, and it continues to go up. You know, so if we're going to sell proactive maintenance, we got to talk about how are we going to decrease cost, not increase. And it's not really decrease cost, it's to optimize cost by doing the right thing at the right time. So number 3, determine the root cause of increased maintenance costs. You know, what causes of cost increases in most facilities? Could be increased foreign competition, reactive maintenance, increase in taxes. Taxes are going up, believe it or not. Increases in acquisitions by other companies. I mean, it's happening all the time, all over the world. And lower labor costs by other companies. Some companies have lower labor costs. You know, it depends on where you're at. Like in the U.S., there are certain parts of the U.S. the cost is lower. And then plant leadership. If you don't have good leadership, you're not going to be successful. Working with a plant right now, and I tell you, the best plant leadership I've ever seen. It's amazing. He's awesome. And then whatever. Don't know what it is. Remember we talked about this? How to sell it? Identify a trend, safety, and incident rates at your site. Go back. Somebody in your organization, and I guarantee in your safety department, or maybe HR, they've got this information. See what the trend is. Trend it. You know, here you're showing 53 months. You don't have to go 53 months. Go 4 years. They should have this data. It's important to show them, because if we're going in the wrong direction, that means we probably need to look at proactive maintenance. Okay. Number 5, you know, knowledge of maintenance best practices is critical, right? Attend any of my upcoming workshops, attend virtually, or ask senior leadership to sit in the first hour of it. Don't, you know, let me know ahead of time if you've got a senior leader that's going to be sitting in the first hour. Okay, there's a list of workshops. They may need to want to sit in there. All right. The next is ask leadership to attend one of the weekly webinars shown below, like this one today. I know this one got kind of out of whack a little bit, but typically doesn't happen that way. All right. Don't have storms like I've got around me right now. So these are the July webinars with upkeep. All right. Go to my website and download these toolbox talks. You got a whole list of them. Use these when you got a manager that don't quite understand proactive maintenance and the cost. Look at the ones I've got. I've got world-class maintenance over the side. What you do with it is you take it, put it on their desk, and put a little note with it with your name on it and saying, let's talk about this when we have time. And then when he or she calls you and says, hey, what do you want to talk about on this world-class maintenance toolbox talk? Say, I'm sorry, I'm really busy right now, sir or ma'am. I'll get back with you as quickly as possible. It's probably going to be tomorrow. The reason I'm doing that is a psychology issue. I want them to think about, thinking themselves, saying, why does he want to talk to me about that? Why is it so important that she wants to know about that, wants to discuss that with me? And then when you actually talk to them, they'll get it. They'll understand it. So, wow, I never even thought about that. All right? And we got maintenance planning and scheduling best practices. We got to increase wrench time. We got to. Join the Slack community and yourself and others and learn lessons learned from others. It doesn't hurt to do that. One of the things I learned a long time ago, that in maintenance, if we don't invest in maintenance, we get no return on that investment. This came from Alcoa Mount Holly, John Day, who was the engineer and maintenance manager. This was the model he followed, and he presented this all over the world, the companies, including Alcoa worldwide. So maintenance costs on the vertical, on the horizontal, on the bottom, we have time. So our current cost that's our current state. Wherever we're at, the cost is where we are. This is labor, materials, and contractors. What we have to do is invest in proactive maintenance. You can't cut your way to proactive. You kind of have to spend money to get there. Working with a site right now, and they understand it. They understand the value of that. We got to do it. And our return on investment is proactive maintenance. So when leadership says, we don't have time for that, if we want to necessarily take the move to reduce costs, we're going to have to spend money. Proactive maintenance is the only way to do it. And then number 6, create a proactive maintenance dashboard, a scorecard, or a RACI chart. I think it's important. You look at the positions across the top on the RACI chart, and then the task goes vertically. If we define our roles and responsibilities, it's a big deal. It gets us aligned in thinking, including management. So this is proactive maintenance. So write a work request. Who writes the work request? The R's are the ones that write, okay? So operator can write a work request, planner can write a work request, maintenance supervisor. Converted to a work order, going down to vertical now. Work order charge on asset, maintenance planning, maintenance scheduling, work execution. So work execution, A is the maintenance manager, that's where the buck stops. A can only be one person, okay? R is the maintenance supervisor. So that makes sure, so the tech is a doer also, but the supervisor's job is to review the work to make sure the work was done correctly, okay? Then we go down to the scorecard is everything. If you're visual of what you're doing, that visual statement means a lot. So when someone says, how are we doing? How are we really doing the maintenance? So preventive maintenance in this case is showing 90% PM compliance, okay? And then planning, so plan work, with 70% of our work is planned. Our scheduled compliance and scheduling is 67%. Our work execution, how do you measure work execution? It's a metric called rework. How many times do we have to go back to the equipment again within 30, 60, or 90 days? It's important to know that. Maybe we missed something. Maybe we just didn't do the right thing. Who knows? But we need to count rework and maintenance work execution. Where's that? Work order closeout. So what percentage of work orders that you've checked, and this is typically done by the planner or the maintenance supervisor, you just randomly pull a few work orders that have been closed and see if they were accurately closed out. We need to know that. So 88%, that's spot on. That's a good one. The mean time between failure of critical asset, 232 days. That's pretty powerful. So what one thing you plan to use based on what you learned today? Text it in. One thing.
We have a couple of votes for RACI charts.
Yeah, that's a good one to align roles and responsibilities, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Another vote for RACI chart, and still some people typing.
Okay.
Focus on cost savings, using maintenance KPIs.
Yeah, that's absolutely. That KPIs is a big deal. I think using those toolbox talks is a big deal too.
Mm-hmm.
Just my thoughts.
Yeah, Jim says obtain your slides. Joseph says proactive maintenance is not necessary to reduce cost, but to optimize it, doing the needful thing the right way.
That's right. It's not to reduce cost. You're right. Absolutely. The whole objective of this is to optimize cost. If you're going to reduce cost, what you're going to find out is cost goes up. 100% of the time I've seen companies do this. We've got to cut costs. We can't spend money on maintenance right now. No overtime. Don't buy any parts unless you get the plant manager's permission. I can tell you, they never work. They never work. So, great point. All right. Anybody else?
Highlighting the safety and reliability connection and a reliable internet provider. Absolutely, Andy.
Hey, good one. I should have stayed at the plant I was at today rather than where I'm at right now. They have better internet than where I'm at.
Ahmed says, present to the management the graph of maintenance costs, labor costs, production to sell proactive maintenance.
Yeah, absolutely. If you track that over time, cost starts to increase, we got a problem and we got to do something. But only way we can control costs is we got to control the process that we're following. Mm-hmm. It's not about the people, it's about the process.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We still have a few more people typing. We can wait one more second maybe. Jim says we need to focus on PI as much as KPIs, so performance improvement.
Yeah, good point. That's why the leading and lagging KPIs are so important. Leading KPIs lead to the results, and lagging KPIs are the results.
Yeah. Not seeing too many more people typing, so we can perhaps move on.
All right. We'll move on. So questions. I want to thank Upkeep CMMS, for sponsoring these weekly webinars and workshops. I know I surprised you, Heather. You probably didn't know this was going to happen, but I got to tell everybody, without Upkeep, sponsoring these webinars, we wouldn't have them. So I want to say thank you, Heather, and I want to thank everybody at Upkeep. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
These are the workshops I've got coming up. I ask you if you're interested in attending one of the workshop planning and scheduling is over. The one for June, next one is October. Preventive maintenance plus CM optimization is coming up in July. Maintenance technician best practices. If you got technicians who want to take the CMRT exam, it's a good class to take. The maintenance and reliability best practices in September, that's for the CMRT. All right. And then for planning and scheduling again, the wrench time, and then maintenance storeroom best practices. And my website's down below. And if it's something you got a question on, just send it to me at rsmith@worldclassmaintenance.org. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate the patience. Sorry about the disconnect. The storms are gone now, believe it or not. All right. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. A nice evening.
Thank you. Thanks, Ricky. And thanks once again, everyone, for your patience. We don't plan for technical issues and appreciate your flexibility as we worked it out for a few minutes in the middle there. Feel free to reach out to myself or Ricky if you have any other questions. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ricky.